24-hour pharmacy, 2 prescriptions, 1 confession. The pharmacy after midnight is a bright, humming apology. I stood under aisle 9's migraine section, holding a bottle I didn't need and tried to translate my day into dosages. At home, Lena had gone to bed facing the wall. We argued about something small until it grew antlers. I left for the pharmacy in the cowardly uniform of errand running. Keys, hoodie, a promise to bring back something useful. The overnight pharmacist was alone behind the glass. In the waiting chairs sat a young guy bobbing to music only he could hear, and an older woman with a stack of coupons the size of Faith. Somewhere toward the back, the photo kiosk beeped. She turned the corner by first aid, a woman in a raincoat carrying her own weather. Dark hair pulled low, sneakers drying. She paused at the shelf in front of me and studied the options like she was trying to decide which product could disguise a story as self-care. A thin gold ring flashed, hid, flashed again. Uncertain equipment. "Do you know if these are all the same brand with different bravery?" she asked, lifting 2 boxes of allergy meds. Her voice had the gentleness people reserve for pets and confessions. "They all promise breathing," I said. "Only one actually delivers it." She smiled, not staged. "Which one is honest?" "The one that doesn't have a commercial," I said, pointing. She dropped the louder box and kept the quiet one. "Thanks," she said. "I'm Rhea." She didn't offer a hand. "Evan," I said, "night shift customer." Do you ever look at all this and think, if relief were simple, we'd sell it in the front with the batteries? "Batteries are complicated too," I said. "You only realize the size you need when the device is already disappointed." Rhea laughed softly. The laugh seemed to reassure the fluorescent lights. She put the allergy meds in her basket but didn't move. Her phone lit her coat from inside, 3 short buzzes like a polite alarm. She didn't take it out. "You okay?" I asked, violating the rule about strangers, but rules are daytime inventions. "Define okay," she said. "I came for cough drops and left with a few rounds of inhale, exhale." She looked up at the ceiling like it might know weather beyond weather. "My husband's flight landed at 10. We were fine at baggage claim. We were less fine by the parking garage." "Welcome home is a fragile verb," I said. She nodded and walked toward the pharmacy counter. I followed because my migraine bottle demanded supervision, and because the chairs near the counter are the closest thing a pharmacy has to a chapel. We sat 2 seats apart. The pharmacist called. "Evan." I stood. "Inhaler refill for your wife," he said, sliding the bag across with a small nod. He lowered his voice. "Insurance didn't cover the brand she prefers. I switched to the generic. Works the same." "Thank you," I said, and felt the way gratitude did a good impression of guilt. When the pharmacist retreated into the clatter of bottles, she asked without asking, "Everyone okay?" "She will be," I said. She wrote the world's angriest grocery list on the whiteboard and went to bed. I'm taking that as a request to bring back a better story. Rhea smiled, unhappy and accurate. She checked her phone then, quick as if she'd been dared. On the screen, a text from M. It didn't hide behind an initial. "Parking level 2, 10 minutes, then, no pressure." Then a missed call she pretended not to notice. She turned the phone face down on the chair between us like a hot pan. Rhea laughed in spite of herself. "I was going to print a letter," she said. "Don't worry, I won't. I keep writing them to someone who thinks urgency is an ethical defense. Tonight I wanted to prove to myself I could hold paper without doing something stupid with it. My husband is kind in ways that don't make good television. He returns carts. He leaves 1 square of chocolate because he thinks it counts as restraint. He also forgets to ask me the question that would cost him pride and save him time. Are you lonely? Are you? I asked. Sometimes in a way that makes me hate adjectives, she said. And you? I am excellent at errands, I said. It looks like devotion, it's occasional avoidance. Outside the automatic doors, night held itself together. Rhea looked down at her hands. No manicure, a tiny scar on one knuckle, the kind mugs give when they jump. What are you not doing tonight? She asked gently, like a pharmacist checking interactions. I'm not going to the coworker who laughs at my jokes in the supply closet, I said, surprising us both. I'm not texting a poem composed of 3 words. I am going to buy mint tea like a man with fewer metaphors. The pharmacist hit a button that made a low, satisfied chime. Rhea, he called. She went to the counter and returned with a small white bag and the practical dignity of a person who completes a task. We walked toward the register in parallel. At the checkout, the overnight clerk scanned. Loyalty number, she asked. I told her my phone number because that is the way adulthood keeps secrets. Rhea rattled off hers by heart, then dug in her bag for a coupon she hadn't brought and laughed at herself for being the sort of person who attempts time travel at the register. Rhea stopped under a lamp and repositioned the bag in her arm like a child. Would it be all right if I asked you to stand here while I text him back? I understood she meant near me, not for me. I said, I can admire the architecture, and leaned on the cart return with she typed slowly, thumbs careful. Not tonight, not any night. I want to feel proud of breakfast. She hesitated. She added, delete my number, please. She didn't cry. She made the not crying shape with her mouth that is braver. She hit send. She smiled the right amount. I brought tea, I said, and a chocolate bar. She tucked her feet under and made space beside her on the couch, the way hosts make space for guests they want to stay. I sat. She took the inhaler from the bag and I'm sorry about the calendar, she said before I had a chance to choose my bravery. And about how I prefer anger to admitting I miss you in rooms you're in. I'm sorry about how I prefer errands, I said, and about the way I use fixing to delay hearing. I placed the mint on the coffee table like a sacrament on a lazy Susan. Would you like to be asked a question? Yes. Are you lonely? She closed her eyes and opened them the way people do when the answer is an old friend. Sometimes, she said. Are you? Yes, I said, and also here. We boiled water. Steam did what steam can do. While the tea grew its courage, I told her about the pharmacy, about the fluorescent courage, about the woman who decided to be less interesting and more proud later, about how aisle 9 forgives nothing but offers a good seat for trying. I did not make myself the hero. I made myself the witness. Lena ate 1 square of the chocolate and after a beat the second. Your sacrificial minimalism is canceled, she said. We need full squares. I laughed, and it didn't feel like sneaking past a guard. The kettle clicked and we poured. Mint smelled like a part of the house we forgot. We talked about calendars as artifacts of hope instead of weapons of accuracy. I told her I had almost texted someone once and how not texting felt like running uphill. She told me I didn't owe her a confession, but she wanted the man who offered it. When our mugs were half empty and the house had decided not to blame us, my phone buzzed on the counter. Unknown number. Thanks for standing by the architecture. It helped. I turned the phone over and left it there. I told Lena there was a woman who chose not to get colder in a parking garage. Lena nodded. Good, she said. We took the blanket to the couch and let the tea talk a little more. We were not redeemed, just better placed. The night did not applaud, but it permitted. Somewhere in the pharmacy, the photo kiosk beeped. Somewhere in the parking lot, someone wiped a steering wheel and thought about breakfast. 2 mugs cooled. Before bed, Lena wrote tomorrow's groceries. Apples, eggs, soap, ask each other if we need company. I added mint even though we had plenty. Sometimes it's good to see the word for what it is. The pharmacy was still open. Relief skipped sleep. Tonight home tried learning it.